Hey guys, Thogden here, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now today, I'm not sat here with Thogdad. We've got a very special guest with me instead. Thogdad's out in Montenegro. We're going to get his predictions in off video, but we're here with CHRISMD. How you doing, mate?
Come on, I'm very good, mate. How's things?
I'm doing well. It's a pleasure to get you on the channel because you're usually doing your football videos and stuff like that. That's all great, but today you're tested in your football knowledge.
The ball knowledge, yeah. Very different things.
How do you think you're going to do?
Honestly, I think predictions are absolutely impossible because football is such a random sport. So I think I'm going to do terribly. I think it's good to set the bar low.
If we base it off your fantasy team, I'm not too I'm not too scared about your predictions for the points.
Right, I mean, there's no need for that. I have to hit a level where I'm like, I need to continue doing my job and not allowing my life to get run by fantasy team, because I feel like the only way you can be top of fantasy leagues is if you literally spend your entire time digging into stats and like sitting on Twitter on fantasy team, sitting on Reddit, and it's just like I get to a point where I'm like, I physically don't feel like I can justify putting any more time into like figuring out my transfers and stuff.
You're taking it seriously this year? Well, by points, it doesn't look like it. I thought you'd given up, mate. I thought you'd given up.
You're only 37 points ahead of me. I don't feel like after game week 11 I should be getting this abuse.
I've got a problem with your team. Who is that Manchester United striker sitting there?
Man, I just got 12 points last game.
First time he's got points in the Prem in a while.
The thing is with Ronaldo is I'm like he's Ronaldo, and it's so difficult because you look at fixtures and you're like, he's got City, he's got Chelsea coming up, but he loves those big, like, that's when he plays so well in big games. And like, you know, against, I don't know who you know, Atlanta, that's where they're playing midweek, and like the 2 goals Ronaldo scored against them, like they weren't even chances. Well, the first one was, the second one was just like, that wasn't a chance, and
that was incredible.
It's outrageous. So I feel like you look at stats, you look who they're playing against, it's like you've got to take the Ronaldo effect into consideration as well. I had a double City defence for that Brighton match when Edison just came out and absolutely cleaned out the Brighton striker. Like, they're 4-0 up or 3-0 up at the time. For no reason, Edison just charges in and, like, shoulder barges. It was the most frustrating football match I've ever watched.
Mate, I don't know if you saw my team, but I've got the exact same City defence, Cancelo and Diaz.
Oh, yeah, you've got the exact same City players as me. So
yep.
You would have had the same heartache. But luckily, you had Reece James. You got 21 points.
We're going to try and get every guest on here to show the FPL team. And if they don't play FPL, then they're not even worthy of being on Prem predictions.
I wouldn't talk to them. I'd bring them on, ask them if they play FPL, then it's either a block or, cancel them straight there.
Thank you for your time and good night. Right, let's move on to the matches. We've talked about FPL. We've had a laugh. I still believe I'm going to be ahead of Chris by the end of the season. I'm going to be taking it serious this year, that's for sure. Let's start off with Southampton versus Aston Villa. Southampton, they've been back on form. They've been keeping clean sheets. My boy Livramento, my fantasy team's been doing well. It's like they got through that blip of bad form. But Aston Villa, they look mudded. Chris, have you seen how bad their form's been?
It's been a bit stinky, yeah, I'll give you that.
Terrible.
Watkins has looked quite good recently.
Yeah,
though.
he got the goal.
Kind of dangerous. I mean, Southampton have had a lot of clean sheets. Just by regressing to the mean, then, they're due and not a clean sheet.
What, you think Villa just going to turn up?
I just feel like, with the how chance works with the universe, Aston Villa are due to score a few goals.
Dean Smith decided to play Ashley Young at central midfield instead of one of their Bright Academy, like, he was on the bench. He was a central midfielder. It's a bit dodgy, that, isn't it? Like, he's made some dodgy...
Yeah, I didn't know that before I made that prediction, so...
I know, and he's also done some silly stuff, but it's Ings versus his old club. Honestly, I'm going to go bold and say Southampton 1, Villa 0. I think this is the final step for Dean Smith. I think he's probably gone after this game. When Grealish was at Villa, they averaged 1.7 points per game. And without him, it's only 1 point. Would you see Villa mudded, or do you think they're going to go on a run now?
Villa last season was such a one-man team with Grealish. Like, it was literally pass him the ball, get him to create something. Pretty much like England to some degree when we play with them. But it's such a one-man team, and I feel like over a season, you would probably adjust to play as, like, he's your focal point of attack just because he's so good that you make your whole game around him. So I feel like it must be very difficult when someone like that goes. They do seem to be struggling. I think I'd be going with the Southampton win as well. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Southampton.
We've both backed Southampton. I think it's only right we go over to Thogdad.
Hello, this is Thogdad in Montenegro. Now, Theo, you had a great week last week with 3 score predictions correct. But that is not going to continue. Thogdad is on his way back. So for me, this is all about form. It's going to be Southampton with their wonderful badge 2, Aston Villa 1.
Right, moving on to the next match, early kickoff. Some people would say never back the early kickoff. It's Manchester United against Man City. It's a big one, eh, Chris?
It's a very big one. And to be honest, Ole usually packs City in, which is weird, which is very strange. And I feel like job's on the line. it would be classic Ollie to go and get a result for this one.
I back Manchester City. Just look at the recent form. Like when Liverpool had this fixture, which you wouldn't say Liverpool and City are far off the same quality. They went and won 5-0. They scored 5 goals. And I know that's under, they lost their heads and it was under different circumstances, but surely Pep's going to go out there and at least score 2. The Manchester Derby recently has been won by the away team, and that's why I slightly am tempted to say that City are going to win.
It's just one of the unsolved mysteries of the universe. Where did all this come from? How does Ollie continue getting results against Man City? I feel like it's just not in our hands. It's just destiny for United to go and get a result. Honestly, I think it's a United win. Every time they play City, it's dusted. So I think United win.
What score? It's a big question.
I'm going to go with 2-0 United.
Every United fan loves you now. Here's the big one. Is Ronaldo scoring in the Manchester Derby?
I hope so, because he's in my team. But honestly, mate, it's... For the last 3-4 weeks in fantasy team, just watching Diaz and Cancelo get 1 or 0 points, it's been so depressing. So I'm just going to put myself firmly on the United camp, and then any gains we get from that, I'll take.
Like I said, I'm slightly tempted to back City because Foden's on great form. They absolutely smashed Bruges out the park 4-1.
Oh, they did actually. Yeah, they absolutely smashed them as well. Like they had so many chances in that game.
And Pogba's out because of a red card. Do you remember last time against Liverpool? So I'm tempted because of the McFred situation in their midfield. I believe it might be a Ronaldo failure. No clutch from Ronaldo. Man United 1, Man City 2. I'm sorry, guys. That's what I believe.
This is going to be a brilliant local derby. Theo, you should go to this game. And you know what? I'm going to sit on the fence, a 1-1 draw.
Next match, Brentford against Norwich. 2 teams which have been falling off a little bit recently. Brentford have had 3 straight PL defeats. Last one out to Burnley. Not going to be easy for them to take. Chris, what do you feel about this one?
I absolutely shag Brentford. I'm not going to lie to you. I love... they just play so well. Their XG has looked really good, their underlying stats. Before they went to Burnley and just got packed in, I was so disappointed, when we got benched. Anyway, sorry, I've stopped talking about my fantasy team. I think they'll be really good. I actually think Brentford will finish 12th, something like that. I think they'll be absolutely fine, no chance of relegation. No. I'm going to go with the Brentford... 3-1.
3-1
Brentford.
I look at it one side and think this is a must-win for Brentford. When they look back and see Norwich at home in the fixture list, it has to be 3 points. So I agree. I think Brentford will win 2-1. Are both these clubs getting relegated, though? Because Brentford is starting to fall off.
I think Norwich do. But Brentford, when they... watching the game against us, watching the game against Liverpool, watching the game against... They played someone else really well. But, they were so good against those big teams.
Absolutely.
So maybe, but then they go to Burnley and get packed in. So maybe it's just, a type of their play that works well against big teams. I don't know.
But which 3 teams are going down? If Brentford is staying up, you've got Norwich. Who else? Because everybody's in contention. Burnley got a big win. People were saying that he was going to get relegated.
Yeah.
But
Watford look good. Watford look good attacking.
I think we'll go right down to the wire, whoever gets relegated. It's going to be one of those interesting fights. Yeah.
I think Norwich, sorry to any Norwich fans, I think it's pretty nailed that Norwich are going down. They're the only one that I would say is looking pretty depressing. But apart from them, it's quite difficult to work out who else is going down with them.
Now, Brentford, they have to find a win from somewhere. And this is where it's going to happen. The community stadium will be buzzing. This is going to be 2-0 to Brentford.
On to the next match. We're going over to Stamford Bridge. A winnable fixture. Chelsea versus Burnley. Chris, how are you feeling for this one? Because Chelsea are looking pretty good. They're winning all their games recently in Europe, out of Europe, in the Prem. They've got an academy side. A lot of the boys have come from the Chelsea youth, and they're all smashing it. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Do you think Chelsea's academy is better than Arsenal's?
Although we've got some good players coming through now, I think in last 5-6 years, Arsenal's academy has not been very good. I don't there's not many players.
It's not
who
been bad
in
though.
Our team now.
Smith Rowe, Saka.
I mean those lot, but they're newer.
I see.
5-6 years. When I say that, I mean who's gone into the first team and stayed in the first team from the academy. Bellerin was the one that was looking like he was going to be a starter for 10 years, and he got his injury and just RIP really.
They're looking like they could win the league. They're top of the league.
Yes.
They've got to win this match. I can't see Tuchel messing this up, even if he does rotate. Cornet's on fire for Burnley. He's been getting goals pretty much every game in the Premier League. They did get a big result against Brentford, but for me, I'm going to go out here and say Chelsea 3, Burnley 0.
I think I'm going to be on the same lines. I think when the Newcastle match was on the other day, the words Will and E used was depression ball for how Chelsea play. And it's just so possession-based that for the other team, you've just, I think Pep came out of a quote recently and was like talking about how they're very possession-based these days, because if the other team doesn't have the ball, then they can't score. But definitely Chelsea just have so much of the ball. I'll go with a 4-0 against Burnley.
Ballsy. Right, let's go over to Thogdad.
Meanwhile, Burnley, brilliant win for them. And that man Cornet is coming good. But I tell you what, you're not going to get anything from Stamford Bridge. They might nick a goal from somewhere. But I'm going Chelsea 3, Burnley 0.
We're going to kick things off with Crystal Palace versus Wolves. Palace beat Man City 2-0. Did you watch that game?
Bring back COVID, because then we got every single Premier League match on TV. It was brilliant.
It was the best, wasn't it?
I loved it. I don't understand. I'm sure there's reasons I probably don't understand them, and but I loved the fact that you could see every game on TV. And
I was watching.
Weekend, I was like,
I was watching Brighton Newcastle on a Monday 5:30 kickoff and looking forward to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But last weekend, there was City, Chelsea, Liverpool, all at 3 o'clock, and it was just what? Why? Why have we done this?
Why have we gone back to it? Let's be honest. But going back to Palace Wolves, it's difficult. What do you reckon? I might just sit on the fence here and go for a 1-1 draw.
Palace got a few good players coming back. Eze's back, isn't he? They've got someone else. I can't remember who it is, but they've got a few good players coming back from injury. Benteke's looked okay recently. Conor Gallagher's playing well.
Your boy.
Edouard. But Wolves are good as well. They're always just consistently quite solid. Yeah,
I know.
It's a tough one, really. I'm actually going to go with a 1-0 Wolves.
No team boasts a better record in the league than Wolves. But I'm going to sit on the fence once again. It's going to be Crystal Palace 1, Wolves 1. Two decent teams.
Next match, we might as well just crack straight into it. It's Brighton against Newcastle. Brighton are actually without a win in 6 matches, which is weird to think. But they did come back from Liverpool 2-0 down at Anfield, which is unbelievable.
Looked very good. Very good against Liverpool as well. Liverpool was struggling. But do we know who Newcastle have got manager-wise yet? Who's it looking like?
Eddie Howe, confirmed.
Well done on not getting Unai Emery is all I can say to Newcastle. Because it would have been horrible. Honestly, I hate that man. The crimes he has done against football, and he has not paid for them yet. Honestly, the things he did to my football club for 2 years.
It's football, mate. You've got to live with it. Look at his face. He's genuinely hurt on this subject. I'm going to move on.
This man haunts me. Newcastle, I think Eddie Howe is a decent appointment. I don't think it's exciting, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's better than Steve Bruce.
He's not going to have the pull of an Ancelotti.
I'm going to go with a 2-0 Brighton, though. I don't think Newcastle will do anything against them. Although St. Maximan looks good, and he's always a threat. I think it'll be 2-0 Brighton. So.
Newcastle are mudded until January. Let's be real here. Their team is not good enough.
Yeah.
They may have the money, but they can't spend it. I'm going to ask you, if there's one player Arsenal you'd allow to have to Newcastle in January, who would it be? Xhaka?
Oh, guys, those are my 2 trigger words, Xhaka and Unai Emery.
Would you let him go? Because
yes.
Look, you got Lokonga and Partey now.
Mate, I'm going to throw one out to you, Pepe. I'd give Newcastle Pepe.
I'm going to be honest here. Brighton 2, Newcastle 0. We agree. Over to Thogdad.
I'm going Brighton 2, Newcastle 1. Newcastle will bag a goal from somewhere. Callum Wilson or Alan St. Maximan, to state the obvious.
Right, we've got a few games left. It's time to bring on your team, Chris. You're at home to Watford. How you feeling?
We are. I'm going to be there as well.
Ooh.
I'm going to make it to the game. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of filming for Ben in the home end. So that should be good. I'm confident. Ben White and Ramsdale. Basically, their distribution, if you watched us last season, our midfield is pretty non-existent. Because getting it into the midfield and then doing things. But Ramsdale is... no one knew he was this good at passing. Oh. And, mate, you watch the games these days, and he hits, those passes that he hits that stay about a foot above the ground, have a little bit of backspin on, they're just delightful. Brilliant. And he does that. And then Ben White, it's so underrated in a centre-back. But he will take on 3-4 players and then let the ball go and literally just bypass their front 2 lines. And it's so useful for our team. So I think that's made a huge difference. Having Smith Rowe, obviously, we didn't have that last season as well. I think we're looking good. I feel like Arteta's finally got a sort of rhythm. He's finally got the players that he wants in certain positions.
It's a young team and it started off poor, but it's started to really come off. You're 9-10 wins on the trot now, or unbeaten. I have to ask you, Ramsdale, England number 1 for you?
I don't know if England number 1 yet, but I think he's so young and his distribution is ridiculous. So if he continues, yes.
I'm honestly saying the same. I'm not even an Arsenal fan. I genuinely think he's up there with Pickford. It's 50-50 for me right now, and that could be tipped if he continues to put in top performances. Let's get to predictions. How do you think you'll do against Watford?
I think it's going to be a 2-0 Arsenal win against Watford.
But Ben Foster's going to be fuming with you.
Ben Foster is going to be fuming, but I'm sorry, Ben, it's just going to happen.
I'm going to go Arsenal 2-0. I think Smith Rowe is going to score.
Watford lost at home to Southampton last week. The Saints fans were singing Ben Foster, stick your GoPro up your arse, which I thought was funny but a bit harsh. I'm sure Ben had a bit of a laugh at that. You know what? I think this will be a home win. Arsenal 2, Watford 0.
3 games left. We're going to start with a big one. It's very topical. Everton versus Tottenham Hotspur. Antonio Conte has taken over the boys from the north of London. How do you feel about that, Chris? It's the enemies. They've got one of the best managers in the world.
I am quite upset, I'm not going to lie to you, because I was looking at managers Spurs can get and I didn't think Conte would be interested. No disrespect to Spurs. If Arsenal were looking for a manager, I don't even know if we'd get him, you know. So I was very surprised. I think that's going to be really good for them, unfortunately. Son and Kane, good assets for FPL potentially now. So I have to think about that, but I think they'll do well. I think it's probably bound to be. I'm going to go with a 3-1 Spurs against Everton.
I'm going 2-1 Spurs, and I think Kane will get the winner because I think he'll turn good under Conte.
Depends. Conte loves pushing up fullbacks, from what I've read.
That's why everyone's. I know you've done your FPL research here because you're going to go on about Reguilon.
Yeah. Well, it's a gamble. That's the thing. Like first game week, I don't know. I'm going to leave it another week personally.
I tell you what, I do think there will be a new manager bounce here. So I'm going Everton 1, Spurs 2.
Leeds versus Leicester. Leeds just got a big away win at Norwich, 2-1. Rafinha, what a goal! But they've been falling off. You can't beat around the bush. I know Bamford's been injured, but they haven't been as good as the season before.
What has happened to? Is Bamford alive? Has anyone checked on him? What has happened?
It's bad. It's really bad. I don't know what's going on. I think he's going to be out until after international break. So yeah, and this is a tough game. I know they're at Ellen Road, but it's Leicester. I know they lost to you guys, but that means they'll be fired up to beat them.
Yeah, Leeds have been bad recently. When I've watched them, and I've spoken to Simon a few times, and he's just been very depressed about them. So I think Leicester are probably due to win this one. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Leicester.
I'm going to go for the same, 2-1 Leicester. I've got Jamie Vardy in my fantasy team. I'm excited. That's all I'm going to say.
Leeds just don't, moving forwards, they're not looking as good as they were last season.
And I think there might be goals in this one. So I'm going to go for Leeds United 2, Leicester City 2.
Right, final game. It's a big one though. Last but not least, West Ham versus Liverpool. I've seen both these teams play over the last week. This seriously could go either way. Chris, what's your take on it?
Every time I watch Liverpool, they're just incredible. I'm always impressed by their defending and their attacking, so I can't see anything other than Liverpool win. Obviously, they struggled against Brighton. West Ham are looking very good at the moment. Yeah. Antonio is disgustingly good. I'm going to go with a 3-1 Liverpool.
It's bold. I'm going to go Liverpool 2-1. I think it'll be a little bit tight just because David Moyes, he's just a quality manager. I can't see Liverpool running riot.
He really is. Yeah, I genuinely think his time at Everton was massively understated. Like, he had them for, 10 years or something, right?
Yeah.
And just consistently got them better and better, like sensible transfers and stuff like that. I think he did. His United stuff tainted him.
He brought Fellaini over.
Did he? It's true. Maybe
iconic.
Maybe not as wise a decision, but
no, he was quality for Everton.
He's quite good. It was good for United as well. Like last 10 minutes in every game, they just stick him up front and he'd score.
Oh, mate, unreal.
Whilst elbowing someone in the face, but usually would score.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game. You think Salah's the best player in the world?
At the moment, right? Yes, I think at the moment he is. So I was filming with Ben Foster and Will Troost-Ekong from Watford yesterday, and they were talking about the Liverpool match, and basically they said that at their last 20 minutes of their training session before the match, they're all out on the pitch. Liverpool are in their half, Watford are in their half. They said that Klopp stood on the halfway line, arms crossed, for 20 minutes straight, just watching Watford. And they said that he's a big man, literally stood there, not moving, just watching them for 20 minutes. They said it was really eerie, and it just totally fucked with them.
Oh my
and it's
goodness me.
So they were he now knows our formation, or he's been watching our tactics. And I was the mentality of Klopp to just to have that and think, I'm going to try and get in their heads so they think that I know how they're going to start and everything, and mental.
That's mind really games mental. Right there. That's everybody speaks about the top managers, but the little things, that's what brings them to the top. Right, we're giving our predictions. Let's go to Thogdad for one final time.
This could be a superb game, and I really will be watching it somewhere in a bar in Montenegro. I think it's going to be West Ham 1, Liverpool 2. Liverpool are just amazing at the moment. So those are Thogdad's score predictions. I'm going to beat Theo this week. Normal service will be resumed. See you.
Chris, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on Prem Predictions. It's the first time. Hopefully we can get you on again, depending on your ball knowledge.
Let's see how it goes first.
Yeah.
Let's see how the ball knowledge goes.
So just to explain, as the games go on, you get 1 point for a win, draw, loss correct, and you get 3 points for the exact score. Okay? So if it's 2-1, you predicted it, you get it. So it's very simple, really. Count it up as the Premier League week goes on. We'll be giving you the points by the end of, I think, Monday. Mate, we're going to be testing your ball knowledge. If it's as good as your footy skills, then you're probably going to be beating us, right?
Pretty shit. Oh. Yeah, hopefully. Let's fingers crossed.
Right, Chris, any content coming up?
I don't think I can really talk about it in case it's still a bit unsure if it's going to happen. But yeah, hopefully film with someone we've talked about today. I'll say that.
Ooh, very naughty.
So that should be good. I've got like 3 footy shoots. We filmed with Ben Foster yesterday. Filmed with Will Juice Con. Yeah, got some lovely football shoots coming on. Sorry, just to shove my content down your throats. But
Nah, mate.
yeah, I've got some good stuff coming up, mate.
Looking forward to it. Both top lads as well. Both got channels. This is the new era of football, isn't it?
It's the new era. It's brilliant.
Well, Chris, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. Thank you for your time. And yeah, good luck. Leave your Premier League predictions in the comments. Thogdad from Montenegro. We're going European this video. It's absolute mental scenes. Thank you to everyone for watching. See you all in a bit.